Welcome back to Ready Set College. We're in the home stretch here with Jeff Morrow, the Director of College Counseling at Oaks Christian in Westlake Village. Jeff, let's get back to this kind of concept of the California schools
Sure.
within this limiting of religiosity. We had mentioned Pepperdine as sort of inching its way out of the self-selecting universe, but still a religious institution. Let's talk about some other schools that are California-based and see where they kind of fit in this range. And again, let's give the disclaimer of these are opinions of college counselors. The school may or may not completely 100%
Sure.
agree, but
Yeah.
it's a perspective that you probably had over many years of experience working
Absolutely.
with these schools and sending kids to these schools.
hmm
By all means.
Yeah. I think that when you look at it, and I think you want to let's not confuse the idea of moving away from it with just having maybe a different approach to fulfilling that school's whatever their mission might be. So the idea of wanting to attract a broad range of, say, belief systems, backgrounds, experiences may not be the same as wanting to move away from that mission. So where you have some schools that are definitely being intentional about moving away, I think you have a lot of others who are just saying we're just going to define it a little differently. We're not going to require that you do this, but we still want to make sure that any student from any background is going to be comfortable on our campus.
Okay, so let's run through a couple of names and just
hmm
get your opinion on
Sure.
where they stand. So families who are local to California can go,
Yeah.
oh, I didn't realize about such and such school, or that
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense to me. Um, California Lutheran University, down the street from where you guys operate.
Sure. Yeah. I think California Lutheran is not going to be as concerned that you be affiliated with the Lutheran Church, but I think that they definitely take the idea of their historical affiliation. They take that seriously. They're very proud of it, but they're going to be welcoming of students of all backgrounds.
And then we mentioned the three prominent Jesuit schools. We've got Santa Clara University, we've got Loyola Marymount, we've got the University of San Francisco. Talk about a little bit about the campus community at a school like one of those schools.
I think it's important to know those are going to be very similar in that they're going to welcome students of all backgrounds. I think what tends to happen sometimes is that the student who is coming from a place of not having any religious background or not looking for a religious background is going to notice the Catholic schools a little bit more because they are going to feel decidedly Catholic. You are going to need to be comfortable with the fact that there will be a large church on campus, which is going to be true of lots of places, whether they're Catholic or not. You're going to find that there's going to be many more members of clergy or priests there on campus as well, which is also true of most religiously affiliated schools. You will just notice the priests more. And so I think that is the idea that you will notice that they are Catholic. I think you're still going to find that there's a place for all kinds of students on those Catholic universities, whether it's the three Jesuits that we talked about, or whether it's schools affiliated with other branches of Catholicism. So they're talking about University of San Diego or St. Mary's or Dominican, are all going to be welcoming of all students.
Well, there's a lesson to be had here, which is if you don't do your homework, you're setting yourself up to fail. Or you're certainly at a minimum, you're setting yourself up to find a location or an environment that for 4 or 5 years may not suit what it is you're looking for. So this adds a very different dimension to the college search. It's not simply do we have the curriculum and the grades and the test scores, and do we write proficiently, good essays, and do we have the extracurricular activities that are representative of what we do. But now we start looking at a culture from the perspective of I'm not just buying a school, I'm buying a home. So with that, I'm going to give you the opportunity to close the show. What are some
Sure.
final thoughts you want to share about this process?
Well, I think this part of the process or this kind of section of schools is no different. You shouldn't approach this any differently to do the rest of the search. And that the idea is that if you're going to use anecdotal evidence to make a decision, then make sure, for goodness sake, it's your own anecdote. It comes from your own research. It comes from your own experience. Because we have to be very careful about the way that we group schools together and assume that one school is like another. Because schools certainly don't want you to do that. They want you to judge them on their own merit, and you should do that the same as well. And find out what the religious mission is going to add to the everyday life of the student, how that's going to affect you, and use that as your guide.
You just heard from Jeff Morrow. He is an expert in this field, and I am very, very glad you had the opportunity to learn from him today. Jeff, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Rob. I appreciate it.
You guys come back next week. We'll have another amazing show on Ready, Set, College. Have a great evening, and we'll see you soon.